Plus enables informed decision making by translating real-time energy data into graphical displays. I'm Nancy Carter with Tenry Plus, and today, had a lot of people talk to everything that goes into what happens to the homeowner when they're deciding to purchase solar. And a lot of that is based upon their accessibility with the data, the relationship with the utility, the cost, and all the different factors that go into making that decision. So what we're going to talk about is how that picture changes once those solar panels have been installed in the home. Data is now coming from multiple sources. You're having data coming in from your solar provider, you're having data coming in from your utility. Every separate source of data is going to make the decision-making process more complex, because you don't have access to it in one simple easy place. So you're having to compare and contrast, combine, integrate. And the impact even trickles into the utility because you're only receiving the net data. They no longer have access to all of the profile and everything that's going on in the household. So what does this mean? Well, the homeowner is becoming frustrated. They can't really figure out what's going on. They made this investment, or they're really paying what it's worth. Utilities are having to use more complex models to do their forecasting and their data. And so when we looked at this and we said, well, what does this really mean to people? Does it really matter? How big of a problem is it? So we went off and we started surveying and talking to different homeowners that have solar panels on their roofs. And we discovered that they do want to have easy access to all of it. They want to have more communication from the utility. It's starting to turn into more of a partnership. I mean, they're generating electricity. And they have a willingness to share the PV data with the utility that will help these things and simplify their lives. The utilities, on the other hand, are getting concerned about more distributed energy. They just aren't sending energy into a home. They're experiencing this emergent partnership in a different way. And it makes things more complex for them. They're having to do more analytics, more modeling, just to try and figure out what's really out there, what's behind the meter. On an application that they put on their desktop, on their mobile device, they can see in a snapshot the entire electrical footprint of their home. They can see how much they're bringing in for the utility. They can see how much of the solar energy they're using and how much they're actually exporting out to the utility. And when. What we did to support this is we took this as an opportunity to actually create the ability we'll be putting the application in the hands of those users and getting experience and feedback from them. We've talked to municipal utility development in particular, who's inviting us to pilot fund in the early part of the funding. We're moving out into other smaller utilities and third-party distributors as we extend. And in parallel with all of this is the development of the relationships with the larger utilities. We've had some initial conversations with both employees and consultants to PG&E. The input and the feedback we've gotten so far is very positive. And so our plan is to continue to build and launch these relationships with these experiences into the larger utilities within California. But That results in our anticipated revenue growth. The first year, we anticipate will be relatively flat, building these relationships and partnerships, and our costs coming through are shown as well. What's interesting on this chart, what I want to point out to you, are going through the second year, you'll see the inflection points as we start going up. Our business model is that as we move into utility, we will integrate with them. There'll be professional services involved, and then the software licensing fees that will come in over time to follow on to support the growing coverage that we have with the residential rooftops in your area. Competition. There's different forms of competition that are out there, and the one thing that we offer that's unique to all of these is we are the one-stop shop. So you'll have the large integrators, they will have their solution for their customers, but we, because we're a unified platform in terms of solar energy, we can go beyond that, and we can actually provide coverage for anything that may be out there in the marketplace. Our team, smiling because I'm very pleased and proud of my team. So myself, Soren, and Ann we have worked together in the past. We worked in a renewable data monitoring company for a number of years. We have that as well as enterprise software experience and strong business experience. Sam Helms, he's an advisor for our technology and architecture. He is involved in many leadership forums in the Bay Area, including Stanford University, as well as collaboration efforts in the technical field internationally. Linda is an advisor in the marketing and business development area, and we're fortunate to have our developer who has worked in building a core system for similar applications, able to scale that in terms of transactions to units similar to what we're projecting. So we feel very solid with our technology. And using our team, we plan to move forward into market entry, product, and the staffing to support what it is that we identify as being strategic areas to address.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
It looks like the revenue model is mostly selling this as a service to utilities that they can in turn provide to their customers and use internally for their smart grid operations.
Correct.
Where is the value relative to those two last parts? How much of the value is providing this as a service to their customers in your mind? How much is the smart grid value?
Okay. So the service to customers. The PV data today is behind the meter. It's not accessible to the utilities. And they do have the ability to run analytics, things with that direct access to the data they don't have. So you're delivering an application to the customer as a service, and the customer then is voice, at least in our survey today, the willingness to share that data, and that data ownership, or at least the ability to utilize that data in their models can be made available to the utility. So that's a benefit to the utility. For the user, they now have the information they need to know what it is that's happening within their home, right? So if they're thinking energy efficiency, if they're wondering if their usage is going up, if they watch receive, if the utility can send them messages saying, hey, it's going to be a peak demand day tomorrow, or your time of use period is going to be changing in 2 weeks. Think now about changing your behavior. That's also something people are, of course, interested in. And then internally, we can provide analytics like pushing alert notifications that would come through from the solar inverter, or running algorithms that might let them know, or even simple ones like you're importing power during the peak time of day, and then they can start thinking about behavior modifications that would go on with that. We actually think that energy efficiency is going to be a natural extension to this, with some energy efficiency applications that are out there to combine the offerings that they have with what we're offering with the solar and the usage data.
So what is your go-to-market? Are you going to directly to each consumer to try to sell your data platform?
Okay,
Who are you going to?
So our go-to-market is to go to the utility. That's the channel that we're looking for, okay? As we do that though, we want to make sure that we understand what it is that that user community, that consumer community wants to have. So by creating a community of users, we will be able to get that feedback in place, we can supply the information to the utility. And one thing that I was not aware of is that there are targeted messages that are now being delivered from the utility out to their user base. And we would be able to provide a channel and we would find some of that and support that feedback. Was that, I don't think I quite touched on it for you.
Have you talked to utilities to find out how they would value that?
We have not yet gotten an evaluation on it, but we're at the point right now, we're talking to them, is that yes, we see a need. All right, a need for the data. So if they can have access to that data, and I know that they're getting some access from some providers into their model so that they can have some PD data, but the wider the coverage, the more valuable it is. So that instead of running models and analytics, they're actually able to start seeing profiles from actual users. When they reach critical mass, they'll have a greater ability to be able to understand what happens. For example, if the weather changes and solar panels aren't producing as they normally might, then the demand on the grid is going to go up. Right? And so the ability for them to be able to understand and balance that is what it is that they're looking for with the data.
Utility from just looking at the smart meter data and looking at the usage before and usage after the clouds go up before and not.
That's a great question. Because what they can see on the smart meter is how much I needed when my solar was operating that I brought in, and how much I was sending back, right? But as my profile changes over time, as I make it more or less depending on what's happening at my home, then that number isn't visible to them. That's the, that's the behind the scenes.
One question, what information is behind the meter that the utility has no access to? So they used to have full access before solar was adopted, and then it was behind the meter. Meanwhile, as more and more people adopt solar, there's more and more information that they don't have access to, and more requirements and mandates about their lifetime. So there's more and more pressure that they stay consistent in terms of managing data and not less and less information for them. And we have many reliable sources working within the utility district that have this pressure that comes up, and they need to solve the problem. They can't do it internally. They need to fix. So they make it worse.
One more question from the audience. Will customers lose interest in it as they've been seen to do with other monitoring systems?
So because one of the features that we're building in is this communication channel. So by having, rather than a passive application that you have to always go and access or see what's going on, even internally, as we're building an algorithm, let's say, for example, the one I used before, you're importing data during the peak tariff period, you'll get that information that will then draw you back into the application. So that is how we're planning to address that, to make it something that becomes a vital, useful piece of their whole management.
All right, thank you very much.
All right, thank you to Tangerine Plus. So our next team is, in the last 60 days, Pick My Solar has developed a game-changing education platform called Solar Book. Welcome to the next generation of the solar buying experience. Please welcome Chris Levins from Pick My Solar.
What if we educated homeowners with unbiased I picked my solar with achieved all these. We created Solar Book to help enhance and scale our educational solar purchasing experience and to build on top of what we've learned over the past 2 years. My name is Chris Levins, and I'm co-founder of Pick My Solar. We're an online solar marketplace that connects homeowners to solar and solars through an online bidding platform. Our marketplace is akin to many industry-leading marketplaces, such as LendingTree for bank rates or TrueCar for online car purchasing, Just like these marketplaces have brought innovation to their industries, we're looking to do that for solar. So our specific market we're focusing on is residential solar, and today there's over 9 million US households that are prime candidates for solar, and 6 million of those are actively shopping for solar today. And by 2018, 1 million new households will have gone solar. This creates a $25 billion opportunity ready for Uber-style disruption. Of that market, we're focusing on the soft cost of solar, and specific to that, we're focusing on customer acquisition. And by 2018, more than $3.5 billion will be spent on acquiring residential solar customers. So as a marketplace, there's two sides to the equation. And for us, there's homeowners and there's solar installers. Today, homeowners spend upwards of 15 hours before they make the decision of whether or not to go solar. And a lot of this time is spent at their kitchen table with a solar salesman pushing a contract in front of their face. Now, I have a very personal experience of working in solar sales, where I witnessed time and time again homeowners being taken advantage of because they simply do not know enough about this new technology. They don't know how much it should cost. They don't know where they should buy it. They don't know what size system is right for them. And because of all these things, and after all that legwork, homeowners are still overpaying by up to $10,000 for their solar system. By using Pick My Solar, we save homeowners a lot of money and a ton of time. On the other side of the equation is solar installers. And today, solar installers are paying about $3,200 to acquire a single customer. By using Pick My Solar, we're dropping that fee down to $2,500. And for that fee, we're taking it all the way from originating a lead to a signed contract. And we only get paid if that system is actually installed. So we're becoming a new sales arm for these installers with no upfront investment or risk. So here's how our process works. A homeowner registers on our site, and we go through a complete consultation with them, and we educate them on everything they need to know about solar. And SolarBook is a huge part of this. It helps automate our sales process, and it helps us to increase our conversion ratios. When a homeowner is ready, we'll then post their project, we'll size and design their system, then we'll post their project for our network of qualified installers to bid on. And it only takes about 10 minutes to place the bid on these projects. And then we'll receive all those bids, we'll run them through our bid analysis engine, and we'll deliver the top 3 bids to the homeowner based on over 30 different factors, then walk them through to the point of a signed contract. Once that contract is signed, then Solar will go ahead and start doing their installation work, but we continue to engage with the homeowner and the installer through our mobile app, PV Impact, which is a post-sale customer engagement app. We have patent pending on it, and we started development on it earlier this year with the Department of Energy funds. So we launched our platform in 2014, and we spent that year figuring out where we fit in the market and streamlining our process. And in 2015, we started gaining traction. This year, we've helped one homeowner every 8 minutes. We processed over 800 projects, we received over 6,000 bids, and we sold over $3 million in solar installations. Now, for our platform to work, we obviously need to be able to acquire customers. And we've found tremendous success in educational grassroots techniques. We've had solar workshops. We've held dozens of solar workshops where we've had as many as 200 attendees show up, including the town fair and the local news. We've had nationally distributed solar thought leadership articles. We've had installers on the other side of the country calling us up and telling us they're using our articles to help sell their products. And we've created educational videos to help bring in more qualified leads into our pipeline. In doing all of this, we realized we needed to create a centralized location for all this educational material. That way we can scale it. And our solution is SolarBook. SolarBook is an online platform that has everything from solar case studies to educational videos, just online solar webinars to event schedules of local solar workshops. It also has the ability to customize the user experience based on where they are in the solar process. And it can customize based off of IP address, meaning that we'll be able to show a user videos based off of their specific jurisdiction, their specific utilities. That way they can see the rebates, incentives, and regulations in that area. We also have a vast library of videos that are very specific educational videos that can educate a homeowner on something like where on the IRS form their tax credit information goes. This comprehensive resource will allow Pick My Solar to get to the next level and to get a step ahead of its competition. Aside from grassroots techniques, we do have traditional partners. Earlier this year, we got the attention of search engine giant Google on their Project Sunroof, where we're one of 8 national partners. The other 7 of which are mostly national solar companies and publicly traded companies. And then there's Pick My Solar, who represents a large cohort of installers. We have exclusive partnerships with nonprofits, and we have affinity relationships with public universities. We have the right model at the right time to capture the right opportunity. I look forward to answering your questions. And we've been able to do that by getting conversion rate. Well, the proof of us doing that is getting conversion ratio that are over 20% from lead to signed contract installation, which is unheard of in this industry. And we're able to do that because we have a Pick My Solar experience, is what we call it. And we walk the homeowner through every step of the process. And most importantly, our business model is completely agnostic. We don't care which installer wins. We don't care which equipment they use. We don't care what financing they use. Therefore, we have no other incentives besides making sure we present the best possible deal to that homeowner. And it's been working.
Can you talk a little bit about just how you pre-qualify installers and how you'll continue to do that as the network grows to the national?
Sure. We have a very rigorous onboarding process where we look at the licenses, we look at liability, workers' comp, we look at some of the partners they're currently using, and then we also get references from their current customers and their old customers, and we call them up and we talk to them about their experience with this company. And we continue to check their licenses as time goes on to make sure everything does stay up to date.
If you're already getting 20% conversion, this solar book is either or both going to improve that conversion rate or drive more volume transactions through Pick My Solar. Have you modeled what you think that the incremental lift of this is going to be?
So yeah, I mean that's the main thing we want SolarBook to do is bring more qualified leads, and that's one of the things that our platform already does a good job of pre-qualifying those leads before they even get to them onto our platform. We have an online calculator that helps do that. That way, when we're talking to them, we know these are very qualified customers. SolarBook is going to continue to educate them. It's going to continue to bring in these leads that are already qualified. Sorry, I think I went off your question a little bit.
I'm trying to understand how you model this incremental improvement. You already,
right.
I mean, I've seen some numbers. I don't know if those are the numbers of the incremental impact of SolarBook or your core business.
Okay, so we've done a lot of content. We push content out. We were shocked at how much this content would drive traffic to our site, and not just traffic, but quality traffic. And due to that, we realized that SolarBook is a new platform. We just made it the last 60 days. But we think this platform is going to build off all this content we're already putting out there. We're building these trust relationships with these consumers out there that don't know who we are, just because we're throwing out this really quality content. And we think SolarBook is going to be able to build off of that and take it to the next level by doing it with videos. And nobody in the industry yet has done this. We're looking to make well over 100 videos of very specific, frequently asked questions that homeowners have. They can come to us, we'll have the answers.
What about the PV impact? You mentioned that was also developed. What does that do?
Yeah. So PV impact, it takes the green button data from utilities, it takes solar production values for monitoring systems, and it takes rate schedule data, and it puts it all together to figure out the real-time customer savings of their solar system, which nothing out there is doing right now. So it's providing value for the customer immediately on that. It also has some other attributes where it can tell if an inverter is malfunctioning. And when we first developed it, we were but it's also important to utilities and the data that we're gathering. And we believe that we can have a recurring revenue through PV Impact, through both data, through referrals, and through advertisements.
So in your revenue models, are you assuming that you get that lift at the same time CAC comes down? Because you can't be assuming 25%.
Right, absolutely. No, we're assuming that that does go down over time. Right now, we think our fees actually a little bit low. We've been told by a lot of partners that so when we get on the phone with them, that initial consultation has everything that they need, that we need to know from them first up, and any questions that they need to know, the basics of, how does that metering work? What's the tax credit? How do all these basic things work? And that's the first conversation we have with them, right? That's not our only conversation. That's the conversation to kick off the process. Then once we get projections ready for them, we have another stage where we have solar projections before we even post them on our platform. We go through another stage of showing these are cost and savings estimates based on previous bids we received in your area and what the numbers might look like to them. And then we'll post the projects on our site. This is actually a vetting process we do, so to make sure that we only are posting qualified leads on the platform. These installers aren't bidding on projects that don't have a very high chance of closing. So we do continue to educate them. After the receipt of the bids, we're back on the phone with them, educating.
Next group, HyperSense, is made up of 3 undergraduate computer engineering students. The 2 who will be here today are actually graduating next week. And a professor of computer science who are creating technology to make your HVAC system more efficient and your home more comfortable. Welcome, HyperSense.
I'm Jacob Craig from HyperSense, where we're creating smarter homes with smaller bills. This past winter, I lived in an apartment that looked basically like what you see here. We had a huge problem with our heating and cooling. Living room, kitchen, constantly freezing cold. And the only option we really had to try and make it better for us was to go into one of the bedrooms and crank up the thermostat. Eventually, yes, the 2 rooms, the living room and the kitchen, they get a little bit more comfortable. But now the 2 bedrooms were scorching hot. We couldn't win when it came to comfort, but we actually had an even bigger problem than this. The $600 electricity bill, more than I paid for rent at the time. And as a student, this was terrifying. And this problem is entirely too common among people who have systems like mine, especially when 20% of energy use in the US is spent on heating and cooling systems. Billions of dollars are being spent trying to heat and cool spaces, and up to 30% of that is just outright wasted. We have a solution. We have a smart home technology that improves HVAC energy efficiency and increases comfort. We place smart vents into every single room of the house that open and close automatically, so we can direct airflow where it's needed most. In order to control these vents, we collect important information like temperature, motion, humidity, sound, and light. We place sensors into every single room of the house that act as a distributed network of smarter, cheaper thermostats. We feed all of this data into our central hub, which allows us to run important algorithms, like learning algorithms and control algorithms, to improve the efficiency. And the central hub can act as a smart thermostat, or connect to a smart thermostat like the Nest. We can actually reduce the amount of time the system's running by up to 30%. We offer you a mobile application that allows you to tell the system if you're feeling too hot, too cold, or maybe you feel just perfect. We take this information and over time we learn from it, so that later on you don't need to continually tell the app if you're feeling comfortable. You can be predictive. We offer you a web application so you can see how the system's performing over time, or how you're saving money, how much the system's running, so that you can make changes and improve the conditions even more. Like I said, it increases savings, so we reduce the amount of time the system's running by up to 30%. And it's personalized, so every person in the house can set their own preferences and set points. And for the landlords or the homeowners, we give them the opportunity to get important information, like if a window's open or the humidity is too high. So they'll receive an alert, like a text message or an email, so they can make changes and improve the condition of the space. Now, there are 116 million homes in the US and forced there, giving us a $68 billion total addressable market. Bringing it down a little bit, though, we want to focus on the 22 million renter-occupied homes, a $13 billion market. Now, 34% of those, the landlords are covering the heating and cooling utilities, which gives us our initial target market of these landlords at $4.5 billion. We want to go after these landlords because it gives us an opportunity to utilize direct sales channels to get more effective customer acquisition. And these larger numbers of units have diverse tenant populations, so we can continue to iterate and develop our technology. These landlords, unlike your typical homeowner, don't have the level of control over their heating and cooling, but they're still paying for the bills. We're using a two-pronged approach after we gain traction in the B2B market and are going after the B2C market as well. We offer payment plans so that people can pay for the system over time or pay for it up front and use an add-on subscription that offers increased analytics and subscription reports. Now, you might be wondering why this hasn't been done before. I mean, it seems like the intuitive next step for heating and cooling. Well, until recently, the sensor technology wasn't really there to make this inexpensive. Now that it is, we do have some competitors. KeyHome, which offers a smart vent that opens and closes automatically, but they don't really have the level of intelligence that you need to effectively and efficiently heat or cool a home. EcoVent does have a little bit more intelligence, but they're often at a much higher price. We offer a more robust solution with increased personalization, actionable statistics, and learning algorithms that are predictive at a lower price than EcoVent. So let's take a look at my apartment and see how it improved the situation. This time, instead of me having to go into one of the bedrooms, crank up the thermostat, before I even got home, the system knew, based on my preferences and habits, that I would like to be in the living room. So it brought the temperature up 15 minutes before I got there. Later on, if there's nobody in the house, it doesn't heat or cool spaces that nobody's occupied, saving money. And if there's more than one person in the house, not everybody's the same. I like it a little bit warmer than my roommate. So my room is warmer than his. And instead of the $600 bill, we could have saved $200. And for large landlords, this could be hundreds of thousands of dollars over the year. Now, about our team. We have a tremendous team of computer scientists and computer engineers. Particularly, I want to point out Daniel Mosette, who has over 25 years of experience as a professor and chair at the University of Pittsburgh in computer science. He's led multi-million-dollar research projects developing technology for DARPA, NSF, DoD, and more. Brett and I, as they said, we're graduating soon, so we're excited to take on this project. We have a tremendous mentor team from Bosch, Fujitsu, Intel, Carnegie Mellon, who are ready to support us as we move forward. And many of them have started successful companies of their own. We started off as a senior design project at the University of Pittsburgh. We were encouraged to join one of our region's largest pitch competitions, the Randall Family Big Idea Competition, with over 100 applicants. We were a winner, and we were excited. So joining other programs like the Blast Furnace, TransTech, and more, we actually were successful finalists and winners again. We were then invited to join nationally ranked startup accelerator Alpha Lab here as a part of the Innovation Works Center. Now, with the 100,000, we just recently got 2 cloud customers, and we're working on installing our MVP this month. We're going to use the initial 30,000 to support us as we move into these pilot customers, as well as to acquire 4 to 5 more pilot customers with 60 total units. Following that, we use the remaining 70,000 to help us take our product, our MVP, from bench to production, so that we're ready to scale at the next level. Thank you. I'm Jacob Kring from Haversense. We're creating smart homes with smaller bills.
So your target market, if I heard you correctly, is owned where the owner's paying the bill.
Correct.
So how are you incenting behavior among those who are in the buildings to, I mean, obviously the sensors can do some things, But what's your proportion of bang for the buck of automatically doing things versus learned behavior? And why do I do that? Your sample is you pay the bill.
So as a tenant, you want to be more comfortable, and so you interact with the system and let it know if you're feeling or too cold. The benefit on the landlord side is that if a window is left open or they leave the house, they can reduce the amount of time that the system's running. And so for the tenants, they're able to be more comfortable because the system's already from their house, it's not for the landlord.
Okay, so you put it in my house and I like it 85 degrees all the time.
The landlord can set limits, so it's not always cranked up at the highest temperature. So if the landlord says they want it to be between 65 and 75, then the system will regulate it based on their preferences within that range.
Part of it is also not needing empty space. So you're one person, you're only going to be in one room at a time. And so we can avoid needing empty spaces to save more energy.
I have a question about that. So are you using vent control then to manage yours? Is that?
Yes.
So have you looked at whether shutting off vents has any impact on the performance of the HVAC system?
Shutting off vents is largely for the comfort, so it allows us to push more airflow to places in the house that is needed most. The bigger savings comes from noticing when the house isn't occupied and reducing the amount of time the system is actually running.
Are you looking for this application in retrofits, or is it primarily new buildings that you're piloting?
Absolutely retrofits. It's very easy to install. You take the existing vents out and plug ours in, and you just put the sensor bundles in there.
Do you have a sense of what percentage of retrofit market is actually a forced air marketplace?
So roughly 75% of homes of the 115 million have central air or forced air. And so that would be it's about 75%.
I'm interested in the economics or market data that you have around willingness to pay for this. I know that Keen and Southern Company have different price points, but are they driving any volume for this kind of a solution?
So they're actually fairly early stage. One of them just began shipping last month, and the other one is going to be shipping soon, I believe, next year. But they both raised $1 million rounds, and they have interest in their products.
It seems like a high price point to me for the kind of market you're going after, and I'm thinking about the inventory you have to carry in the truck in different vent types. There must be 500 vents.
Right. Initially, we're going to offer various vent sizes, but we're working on technology that'll be able to adjust automatically, or the user can adjust them to put into various vent sizes.
So you should go to market model that there are truck models, or like go to my Apple store, like how am I getting my vent system?
Initially, we're going to use direct sales channels to get out to the landlords, but later on, we can get into stores in the B2C market like Lowe's, Home Depot, and these.
Is it proprietary technology or?
Yeah, the technology that we're building the vents, we're building the sensors.
Did you look at, instead of just cycling on the vents, did you look at the applications for this?
Definitely. Variable systems are even more effective than your typical.
So it would work in either, but
Yes.
I mean, would you be looking to expand that market?
Yes.
Any more questions, judges? No?
So going to a potential customer, how do you advertise the savings and impact?
So we also built with the work for the DOE, we built a simulator, which is a savings calculator that says for you have a basic and an advanced. If the landlord or the homeowner enters its basic schedule, or even just the number of rooms and how many people are in the room, they in the house, they actually calculate based on some averages. Or if you enter more information, it gives you a more accurate savings calculator. And this is on our website. And you can access it. And just returning to the question about that you asked before, if you shut off all the vents, then your HVAC system freezes, and this we take into account. And so the number of cubic feet that you flow through your system. We take that into account. Aside from that, shutting off vents in rooms, and if the rooms are really well sealed, has health consequences. So we also take that into account. So the calculations are built into the software for that.
All right, thanks, guys.
All right, thank you to HyperSense. So our next team is Livable Analytics. Lindsay Graham, PhD, and David Lehrer are both from Berkeley, California, and they provide a solution to understand building performance from the perspective of occupants. Welcome to Livable Analytics.
Good afternoon. For many commercial building stakeholders, the goal of making healthy and livable spaces for building occupants is one of their highest goals and even aspirations. But we know that many buildings fall short of this goal. And the slide illustrates some of the things that we are familiar with from our own experience. Buildings might be overheated or overcooled. We know there are a lot of problems with acoustics, especially in open plan offices, which are so ubiquitous now. There are problems in perimeter areas with glare and overheating. So we know these problems are taking place, but they're very hard to identify and to quantify. What the commercial building sector needs is a reliable tool to understand how buildings are performing from the occupants. So our solution fills this gap. We have a occupant survey analytics tool. It was developed based on industry need that was identified among the partners of the Center for the Built Environment. It's been in use for several years now, and we've collected 100,000 occupant responses in over 1,000 buildings. In addition to the occupant response information, we have a lot of information about the buildings, building characteristics, and the actual diagnostic information, things that are causing problems that can lead to actionable steps and solutions for the occupants. It's also valuable because it comes from a reliable third party, actually a university and a respected research center. Another thing that benefits the users of this tool. This slide illustrates the types of things that we evaluate. We have a set of categories, so we can holistically understand what's going on in buildings. We can then add additional modules to this set of characteristics, of categories, and we can customize the survey to suit specific questions or specific issues that the users have, that the customers have. So through the last very intensive 2 months, we've been able to develop a new interface that's a nice improvement over what we've been using in the past. We were real early adopters of online surveys, so as a result, we use this opportunity to update our look and feel of our interface. This is the building scorecard. The dashboard here gives an overview of the building response results and some benchmarking compared to other buildings. Then users can drill down and they can get additional information about each question, and then they can drill down further to understand what the reasons are behind problems. The tool provides a very compelling value proposition. I'll just give a couple quick examples of how it can be used. Architects get feedback on their designs, and they can use that to build relationships with their existing clients and to market for additional work. Owners and operators can understand how to improve their facilities' operations. Tenants know that they need to provide high-level amenities and good quality workplaces to attract talent, to retain talent. And finally, all of these groups can get a LEED credit or a credit through ASHRAE or the WELL Building Standards.
So let's take a look at the specific market entry that we've got for our product. So we've actually already entered the market. In particular, we've implemented our survey within a variety of building types. Most specifically, we focused on commercial office buildings, but we've also implemented this survey in hospitals as well as schools. Through our research, through this Catalyst program, we've identified about 60,000 buildings per year that are Class A LEED certified that are our target market. Specifically looking at cost and pricing, each of our surveys cost about $1,200 on average. This price point goes up as the customer asks for customization within their particular survey project. And it costs us about $150 per survey to actually construct and implement that. This gives us a percent gross product of about, a gross profit of about 88%. And as you can see on the slide behind me, these are our predicted revenues for the next couple of years. So thinking about how are we actually going to implement this in the next phase, what we would like to do is we would like the opportunity to be able to scale up this particular product. So with this, we're working right now to update our technology platform, much of what we've done in top tier, but also in a more sophisticated way as well. We're migrating our large database that David mentioned. Also, we're working to implement a marketing campaign to expand our reach. So specifically drawing new customers and new clients, but also intensify the reach of our current customers as well. And with this, we're also working to update our product itself. And so we are already have several contracts underway, specifically working to flesh out the healthcare modules that we have, as well as our laboratory modules and hospitality. And we are looking to develop in the coming months product modules that focus on drawing in new kinds of customers. So specifically people interested in worker productivity, as well as the impact of flexible and open workspaces, just to name a few. So we've constructed this plan to help us double our profits this first year, moving forward. And we've created a team of diverse experience and expertise, ranging from psychology to building sciences to computer sciences and community outreach. And we're working to incorporate individuals on the business side of things, in particular working on developing our marketing plan moving forward. In addition to our team that we've constructed, we also have the support of the Center for the Built Environment at the University of California at Berkeley, and the 40+ industry partners who are part of CDE, who have helped us as we built this product. So what this really comes down to is this particular investment will allow us to scale this product. It will allow us to develop and distribute a scalable version of our tool to allow business or building owners to create and maintain effective and comfortable buildings for their occupants. Thank you for your time.
Another question. Your primary market today is Class A LEED buildings. What's your expected rate of return? Are you back to the same building for another survey, or are you just use out your market and then you're done with that market segment?
We do have many repeat customers. Sometimes people identify problems and they want to go back and measure it again. Maybe they made some improvements. With LEED EV, going forward, that will require people to go back and be certified. But there's such an expansive market, we've just really begun to tap into it. So we've said LEED and Class A buildings because that's where we think the value. They see the value in the best quality space for the occupants.
On that value question, are there case studies where any of your clients can prove some kind of economic return for doing this kind of survey work? Sale to them other than peace and harmony.
Well, again, as I mentioned, I think that the most important thing, well, maybe the way to look at it is if we think about the ratio of energy, you've all heard this, energy to rent to the salaries, it's a 1 to 10 to 100 variable. So tenants are really looking to improve the quality of the workspace, especially leading companies. They want to attract talent. You see companies like Google, they give out free sushi to everybody that wants it. So part of that is having a good workspace. And actually, because real estate is a lot cheaper than building real estate and and all the operations are quite a bit cheaper than salary. So increasing that is actually a very cost-effective way to keep talent.
I'm just wondering, if you have that, it's a case study, document what that return looks like. Can you do that?
We don't have that quantified.
We do have examples though of partners within CPE who have used the survey and how they've used that information to help inform decisions moving forward and make sure that they're implementing design in the best way possible. We see this specifically within some of our portfolio clients as well. And so for instance, right now we're working on a project with a large engineering firm and a government agency where they're looking at about 40-something buildings, and they're using that information to help inform their design decisions moving forward. So though we don't have the specific numbers from those companies who've used our tool, we do have multiple examples of situations where it has helped them increase their building effectiveness in the specific goals that they have for their projects.
So in your assumptions, you said about the price per building and your cost per survey. What's in your cost per survey? Because the piece of it's very manual, a lot of this, right? It sounds very custom, and so is the 150 all-in cost, or?
Yeah, so it includes things like our server costs, as well as the cost of, we have a survey coordinator who does basically the grunt work of actually getting the survey implemented. And that's part of what the new technology platforms that we're utilizing are going to help reduce that cost. Also, some of the cost comes from my particular salary, so I oversee and the psychometric expert in our survey tool development. So it's just a combination. It's essentially our labor.
So you've done an analysis of your competition and how you would make sure you stay out in front of the game here?
Yeah, so we're actually the leader in North America with a product like this, but we do have obviously competition with regards to specifically architecture engineering firms that are doing some sort of post-occupancy evaluation. But our particular product is very cost efficient and very time efficient as well. So by utilizing survey methods, instead of actually going into this space and utilizing observational sorts of methods, which take lots of time and lots of money and man hours, we're able to winnow down and pinpoint how occupants are feeling within their spaces in a more cost-efficient sort of way. We also have one competitor in Europe called Leesman, and they implement a similar survey tool, but they do it by paper and by hand, and it's much less cost-effective, much more time-intensive. And so we're trying to stay ahead by developing our technology even further.
What's the turnaround from the time somebody signs a contract to do a survey to when it's completed and the data is returned to them, and what does that look like?
So I mean, honestly, it could be as fast as almost same-day turnaround, depending on the goals of the client. But generally, it takes about a week or two to get the survey contract set up, to get the survey itself set up, and get our process moving forward on how to actually implement it. We recommend that our clients distribute it at least for 2 weeks, so that they're getting a wide cross-section of the occupants, and that we're increasing recruitment as much as possible. And then from there, once the survey closes, we're able to turn around the report really quickly, so within a day or two. And part again of what we've been doing with Topcoder is to try to streamline that particular part of the process so that it's even more automated and efficient, and providing our clients with the best results and output possible so that they can really use that information to make informed decisions moving forward.
That's all we have time for. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Livable Analytics. All right, so the last team that we have up before we are going to the right here is the Solar Action Network, coming from Northern California. The Solar Action Network is serving the market by focusing on rental and investment properties.
All right, this is fun, huh?
Okay, so today we've heard a little bit about renters, the things that renters can do in the solar economy. One of them was invest in solar projects. I think that's great. I really support that notion. Another idea is community solar. That's something I personally believe in. I'm still waiting to actually join a community solar farm in California. That law passed in 2013. And the third thing that renters can do, this isn't necessarily the purview of the Department of Energy Solar Energy Technology Office, but they can purchase off-grid projects. And the final thing that they can do, which no one in this room has talked about, and something me and Maggie are really excited about, is actually getting solar panels on the roof of the property that they rent. That's the product that we're talking about today. We're calling it Sunlord Solar for Renters. So first, a quick background on us. My name is Benjamin Peters. I was an early employee in REC Solar. I've been in the industry for 9 years. I am a solar industry veteran, but also an entrepreneur. I remember when Ed and Lynn sat down with us and talked about a brand new product that was called a residential power purchase agreement. Today, the combined entity is worth about $500 million. The second point of my story is that I've grown teams, I've hired people, I've had to fire people. I know what it takes to actually run and grow a business.
My name is Maggie Snickler. I'm head of marketing. I've been in the solar industry since 2008 with background in negotiating and purchasing land for large scale utility scale solar projects.
Thanks, Maggie. So here's the product. It's really an elegant solution. It's selling on-site solar to investment property owners. The nice thing about investment property owners is that they're some of the most optimal solar customers that you can get. They are generally well educated, they have high credit scores, which gives them access to financing, and they understand real estate investments, which is the product we're talking about. Okay, we're talking about giving these investment property owners the ability to increase the revenue stream on their existing investment by adding solar panels. And so here's, I guess you could call it the light bulb moment. How actually do we get to these people? We go through the renters. So our main reduced customer acquisition cost, which is a hot topic these days, is to encourage these renters to help make these pitch to the property.
So our additional marketing program will be two things: social media and event marketing. So basically, we'll go out into the community, set up booth at a community event such as a farmer's market or something like that, where our target demographic
on that small multifamily segment, mostly under the California MASH program. But again, we're focusing on this new and untapped market.
So a quick scenario to really understand how we can do this, right? Because everyone knows the notion of the landlord-tenant split incentive. So here's a story. So when I found out about the Catalyst Award, I did a quick Facebook post. Hey, everyone, how many of you are renters and would be interested in a $100 promo if you give me the name of your property? I got about 20 interested friends and extended network from that initial search. One of them was Grace Miller, who lives in San Luis Obispo, California. She pays about $125 a month, $1,500 annually. And I said, hey, Grace, would you mind, rather than paying $1,500 a month to utility, would you mind paying $1,400 a month to the property owner? She said, oh, a little bit of savings, and plus I get, a cool solar charger, right? Why not? Then I contacted the property owner, Margaret Henderson. I got some bids on her behalf for adding solar to the property, and I said, hey, here's the value proposition for you. Grace, she's already agreed to give you $1,425 a year as a rental addendum. I can get you a solar project for $1,200. That's net value to you of $225 a month for adding a new real estate asset to your property. The last thing I'll say about this story is that Grace is probably going to move out in the next 18 to 24 months. Renters move, it's quite common, and you may think that's a problem in the industry. It actually represents an opportunity for Margaret to then increase the rent the next. So our first phase of our revenue plan is very simple. We're going to generate money based on success fees and earn sales-based commissions. Thanks.
So question on the last point, if the renter moves out, and the new renter moves in, and you change the rental contract, I get, I'm assuming that takes away from the renter then paying the landlord separately for the utility. Am I getting that right? Or am I getting that wrong?
Can you say that again?
So if the renter moves out, yeah, and the solar's still on the roof, so I new renter moves in, the landlord increases the rent, but are they also asking that new renter to pay the utility bill back to the landlord, or is that included in that rent increase?
Yeah, so the new renter, they essentially, you can have the utility bills be included in the rent. So it sort of moves from being a triple net lease to a fully covered lease. And really it's really a way for the property owner to increase the rent maybe higher than they would have got by charging for the solar directly. So that it's actually quite common in the real estate market that we live in. The vacancy rate is maybe 6%. And so a lot of property owners are able to significantly increase the value, the rental revenue of their properties when new tenants move in. And having solar is an excuse and an ability for the renters to have to charge this premium price in a sort of fully loaded rental rate. And then also, there's kind of the peace and love and happiness that comes with solar.
Question about the single-family residential market. There's been a lot of concentration in ownership around the country, so it seems like doing some of the marketing more grassroots could be either complement or overcome with something that's more top-down. These very large property owners, thousands of single-family properties.
That's really the opportunity here. So our business plan has 3 phases. The first is really validate the model. Are people actually going to sign these rental addendums? Are investment property owners really going to care about $200 a year, right? Once we get a couple case studies, get that really validated. The second is to move into portfolio owners, like you mentioned, and then property managers, which are another channel into these investment property owners. And then the third, which I think is the most exciting phase, is a 2-pronged approach. Actually automate the process so that the tenants are selling to the investors directly, right? And we're simply managing that web application, right? They're earning, renter, hey, you want to earn $500 sell solar to your property owner. We'll help you do it with our tools. And then this is key, and this really for everyone in this room, which is I think very exciting, is we'll then partner with existing solar companies who are today hanging up the phone when someone calls in and saying they're renter, sorry, you are not qualified to go solar. We're going to partner with those people, activate their database of hundreds of thousands of people that have wanted to go solar but didn't disqualify. We're going to activate those existing opportunities and then really augment the existing solar provider landscape with one additional way to help their existing market.
If the solar companies today have a potential, they kept track of it for everybody they come up, they're in, your building and your building and your building. And it's, I already know I have a customer who wants it, then why would they not just take them up? Because you're not actually providing anything in the middle.
Yeah, it's I guess it's the unique thing about the way sort of the national solar sales landscape has developed. It's really one call close, focus on your qualified customers, move on, right? So there's actually some work that needs to be involved, mostly in getting the tenant to sign some utility authorizations, right? They need to sign a net metering addendum sometimes, and some utilities require the utility account holder to sign the interconnection addendum. And so a solar salesperson is not paid to do that extra work. And so their sales manager, unfortunately, is going to tell them not to do that. And at least based in my almost decade experience working with these companies, these sales processes are not necessarily going to change. And so these companies would have to spin up or maybe acquire a new division to go after this issue. Does that make sense? It's sort of just the sales process itself, the nature of the way solar systems are sold today.
That's all we have time for. Thank you.
Thanks.
All right, folks, we are going to move into a break now. We've got a 15-minute break. And then when we come back, we're going to have an exciting panel for those of you who are interested in other ways to interact with